Want a good story for Christmas? Okay, so I have a very special story to read for you. I'm Uncle Faris, and I have the joy of reading a brilliant story written by one of the best writers I've ever come across. You might know her, some of you. Her name is Asha Claxton. And when I read this story, I said, I have to read this story because it's so good. So you ready to get a good Christmas story? It's a little bit different from the regular Christmas stories that you hear, and it's a lot about how Christmas can be a gift that you can give in a very special way. So sometimes we think of Christmas as just being Santa Claus giving us gifts, parents giving us gifts, family members giving us gifts, but sometimes Christmas is a lot more than that. It's about the people who you think would not normally give, giving something else in return. So this story is a very interesting one, and I'd like you to hear this story by Asha Claxton. It's called This Christmas Day. Not too far away, in a country you know, lived a loving and kind king who liked the sun and sometimes the snow. And every year as Christmas approached, he would give the people great gifts because he loved them the most. On the computers and tablets and even the phones, he would send them joyful digital ringtones. And each tone at once would happily say, "Thank you, everyone, on this Christmas Day." On one very Christmas, the king became very sick. His helpers were clueless. They needed the king, old Saint Nick. They prayed and they paced. They didn't know what to do. Then Mr. Rudolph and Miss Dancer, his helpers, said, "Let's ask the people their view." The people loved the great and oh so kind king. They wanted to help and gave everyone a ring, ring, ring. Mrs. Dasher came running and said, "The medicine shall be the lighting of the king's big Christmas tree." "Indeed," said Mr. Comet, "yes, that we shall do. And on the top of the tree will be a bright star, and the king will feel new." Mrs. Vixen laughed happily and added some more. She said, "What about a Christmas wreath on the king's door?" Then up jumped Sir Prancer, a very old man. He said, "Good medicine shall be the song from a shiny steel pan." And in a still, small voice, little Cupid did say, "Let's carry him gifts. Let's go right away." And up went the people and the helpers at that. They packed up the boxes, they put on their hats, and the kids wrote nice letters, and the women they baked, and the men in the country carried the big Christmas cake. And as they were leaving, Mary Blitzen remembered one more, something they needed before they reached the king's door. So she ran up to the house and returned with a smile. "Warm socks and hot tea. It will be worth the while." The people and the king's helpers entered the floor. They put the lights up on the tree and the wreath on the door. They put the star up on top and laid nice the table with the cookies and tea and prepared all the gifts under the tree. The king was asleep and awoke by something he heard. It was not the knock on the door or the chirp of a bird. He got out of his bed and put on his red coat and went to the place where the steel pan played the best note. And when he opened the door, his eyes they did glow, for the people had prepared a wonderful show. All the girls and the boys, they ushered him in, and he laughed, "Ho, ho, ho," as they pulled on his chin. Mr. Rudolph, Mrs. Dasher, And Sir Prancer was so very glad. Little Cupid said to Mary Blitzen, "See, the king is no longer sad." Mrs. Vixen smiled to Mr. Dancer, and Mr. Comet brought the cookie and tea. And then King Old Saint Nick was healed immediately. He put on the warm socks and sat on the floor, and the kids read him the letters they wrote him before. And they opened the presents under the tree, and that year the people saved King Old Saint Nick and Christmas indeed. So always remember, the job is not Santa's alone. You can give love and show kindness when you are with family at home. And when you see someone sad and in need of good cheer, remember, you too can save Christmas each and every year. The end. So this book by Auntie Asha is a beautiful story, and I think that this version of this story should be a true Trinidad classic, because we have steel pan, music, letters, we like cookies, we like tea, but the story tells us it's not only about being the person who gets the gift. Sometimes all of us can come together and save Old Saint Nick. What better way to be good people than to exercise the gift of giving? So this year, think a little long, think a little hard, find a way, if even it's to write a card. Say thank you to those you love. Say prayers for them each night. Close your eyes and pray with all your might. God looks on. He keeps us well. Each and every one of us will have a story to tell. Merry Christmas.
Me too.